A man walks through the subway car, scanning passengers' bags one by one, like he is searching for something specific. At the same time, a mother hurriedly pulls her child up and switches seats. But in the rush, she unknowingly leaves her handbag behind on the bench. Another passenger notices the forgotten bag and tries to help. He reaches inside, grabs a bottle, and is about to call the mother back, but the bottle slips from his hand and hits the floor. It shatters instantly, and a huge burst of unfamiliar gas erupts into the air. Within minutes, people in the carriage start choking and collapsing. Panic spreads fast, and the entire subway car turns into chaos. That attack becomes the biggest news story of the day. The city is terrified, commuters avoid the trains, and families of the victims flood the streets in protest, demanding the government find whoever is behind the poisonous gas incident. And this is where it all begins. This is Kahani. 2 years later, a woman named Vidya arrives in Kolkata from London, visibly pregnant. The moment she lands, she does not even pause to rest. She heads straight to the Kolkata police station. Vidya reports that her husband, Arnab Bagchi, came to Kolkata about a month ago for a temporary assignment at the National Data Center, known as the NDC, for 2 weeks. But lately he has become completely unreachable. No calls, no messages, nothing. Like he simply vanished. She provides his details and shows a photo of the two of them together. During the conversation, it comes out that Vidya and Arnab both work as software engineers and network specialists. And when the police station's computer system suddenly acts up, Vidya fixes it quickly, surprising everyone there with how skilled she is. After the report is filed, Assistant Sub-Inspector Rana is assigned to escort Vidya to her hotel. At the Mona Lisa guest house, Vidya immediately asks the manager about Arnab. Based on what she remembers from their calls, many of Arnab's phone calls in Kolkata seem to come from this guest house's number. But the manager insists Arnab Bagchi has never stayed there, and even shows the guest log to prove it. Vidya pushes back with the details she believes only a real guest would know. She mentions a peacock statue near the elevator, something Arnab once described to her back when they were still speaking regularly. Rana checks, and sure enough, the statue is exactly where she said it would be. Now Vidya is even more confused. If Arnab never stayed there, why does the place match his description so perfectly? With no better option, she decides to stay at the guest house anyway, hoping it will lead her to the truth. The next day, Vidya goes to the NDC and meets the HR manager, Agnes. She asks about Arnab, but Agnes says there has never been any employee or staff member recorded under the name Arnab Bagchi. Vidya is about to show the photo again when a staff member walks in and informs Agnes that the police are looking for Vidya. Vidya steps outside and finds Rana waiting. He takes her to the morgue, explaining that an unidentified body has been discovered, and there is a chance it could be Arnab. Thankfully, it is not him. Trying to find a new lead, Rana reminds Vidya of something Arnab once mentioned, that he had an uncle living nearby. They head to that address, hoping it will finally connect them to Arnab. Back at the NDC, Agnes keeps staring at the photo Vidya left behind. The man's face looks strangely familiar. She tries searching a name in the system, but the screen blocks her with an access denied message, like someone has deliberately sealed off whatever she is getting close to. Meanwhile, Vidya and Rana search for any record of Arnab's family in the area, but they find nothing. No matching data, no trace, no connection. By nightfall, Vidya returns to the guest house exhausted and losing hope. She is standing there not even sure where to start next when her phone rings. It is Agnes. She tells Vidya to meet her the next afternoon at a restaurant. The next morning, Rana arrives at the guest house with new information. He has checked immigration records, and there is no entry showing that Arnab Bagchi ever entered Kolkata on the dates Vidya mentioned. Vidya is stunned. Still, with her meeting with Agnes coming up, she pushes that confusion aside for now. At the restaurant, Agnes finally shares what she has discovered. After carefully studying the photo, she is convinced that Arnab's face closely resembles a former NDC employee who disappeared 2 years ago. His name was Milan Damji. Milan was a mystery from the start. He appeared out of nowhere, worked for a short time, and then suddenly vanished. After that, his name seemed to fade from official records. Agnes also reveals something even more unusual. Milan had an extremely rare blood type known as the Bombay blood group. She tries to pull up his file to confirm everything, but the system keeps denying her access, as if someone inside has deliberately locked away every trace of him. Vidya grows more uneasy. If Arnab looks exactly like Milan, are they the same person? Or has Arnab somehow been dragged into trouble because of this resemblance? Elsewhere, a man named Bob is being scolded by his boss at a life insurance company for being lazy and failing to land clients. Shortly after, he receives a photo of Agnes. That same night, Bob goes to her house. not to sell insurance but to kill her, because Bob is not just an agent. He is a hired assassin working undercover. News of Agnes's death quickly reaches Khan, the second highest official in India's intelligence bureau. He immediately reports to his superior, Bhaskaran. It is clear that Agnes was killed right after trying to access Milan's data. At the same time, Khan learns about a pregnant woman from London named Vidya, who may be connected to all of this. Without wasting time, Khan travels from New Delhi to the Kolkata police station. He demands that Vidya be brought in and orders all other officers out of the room. Vidya explains that her husband Arnab has gone missing, and according to Agnes, his face looks strikingly similar to Milan, the former NDC employee. But Khan cuts her off and insists there has never been anyone named Milan at the NDC, as if he is trying to shut the topic down completely. When Vidya keeps pressing, Khan becomes irritated and tells her to return to London once her business is finished. Vidya stands her ground and makes it clear that he has no right to interfere in her personal search. Later, Khan reports back to Bhaskaran, assuring him that Vidya is just a pregnant woman and not a real threat. At intelligence headquarters, Bhaskaran calls a former agent, Captain Bajpayee, asking to meet and discuss something related to Milan. Bajpayee refuses outright. Meanwhile, Rana, now aware of the resemblance between Arnab and Milan, goes to the NDC himself to dig deeper. This time, when an admin checks the records, Milan's data is not just restricted, it is completely gone. When Khan finds out Rana is getting involved, he lashes out. He reminds Rana that he has no authorization and that this case is now under intelligence control. He even threatens to demote him to traffic police duty. Despite the warning, Rana meets Vidya again the next day. Vidya remembers something Agnes mentioned, that employee records might still exist in the old NDC office that has since been shut down. The two of them decide to search for Milan's files there. At the same time, Bob is also ordered to retrieve those same files from the abandoned office. When Vidya and Rana arrive, Rana unlocks the door using Vidya's hairpin. Inside, they head straight to the HR room and begin searching through old records. After digging through stacks of files, Vidya finally finds Milan's folder. But just as they do, they hear the sound of a door opening. It is Bob. Thinking fast, Rana knocks something over to distract him. In the confusion, he and Vidya manage to escape, clutching the file that may finally bring them closer to the truth. The next day, Vidya goes straight to Khan and places Milan Damji's file in front of him. This time, Khan cannot deny that Milan exists. Still, he brushes it off, insisting that Milan is not her husband, so there is no reason for her to keep digging. But Vidya refuses to let it go. She explains that her husband Arnab looks exactly like Milan, and that alone is reason enough to find out who Milan really is. If anything has happened to Arnab and Khan continues to withhold information, she will take matters into her own hands. She is ready to ask anyone who might know something. People on the street, police officers, even the media if she has to. Seeing how determined she is, Khan finally gives in. He reveals that Milan Damji was the mastermind behind the poisonous gas attack at Kalaghat station 2 years earlier. Milan was once an intelligence agent, but he betrayed the agency and joined the enemy. Khan believes someone inside the intelligence bureau helped him, and whoever is protecting him must be someone powerful enough to stay hidden. After hearing that, Vidya goes to Kalaghat station herself. Out of nowhere, Bob approaches and pretends to shove her, trying to intimidate her. Vidya quickly leaves the area, shaken but still focused. At the same time, Bhaskaran visits Captain Bajpayee, urging him to return to intelligence service. Bajpayee refuses. He is still haunted by guilt over what happened 2 years ago. He was Milan's mentor, the one who trained him, and under his guidance, Milan eventually turned into a man responsible for hundreds of deaths. Bajpayee is also fed up with what he sees as corruption within the Indian government, including the intelligence bureau itself. He warns Bhaskaran that Milan will not be easy to find. Milan was one of their best agents, and he is almost certainly being helped by someone inside the agency. Back at the guest house, Vidya lays out 3 possibilities to Rana. First, Arnab may have simply left her. Second, Arnab and Milan could be the same person. Third, Arnab only resembles Milan, and that resemblance has dragged him into danger. No matter which one is true, the key is clear. If they find Milan, they will find Arnab. Using Milan's employee file, Vidya and Rana head to the address listed for him, a small apartment tucked away in a narrow alley. Rana unlocks the door with Vidya's hairpin. Inside, the place is empty, with belongings scattered around. As they are about to leave, Vidya notices something odd. Milan's apartment is the only one without a mailbox. When Rana asks the neighbors, they mention they have been holding on to letters addressed to Milan. Vidya also picks up on another detail. Based on the 2 used glasses inside the apartment, despite there being no kitchen, She suspects Milan regularly ordered ginger milk from a vendor outside the building. The vendor calls over a young boy named Bimmel, who usually delivers the drinks. Bimmel remembers that sometimes another man visited Milan's apartment. He always carried a briefcase with a distinctive gold corner. On the train ride back, Rana tells Vidya how impressed he is with the way she handled Bimmel. He admires how naturally she connected with the child and says he believes she would make a wonderful mother. Vidya quickly fights back tears and shifts her focus back to the investigation. Going through Milan's letters, they find one from a blood donation facility. It reveals that Milan has the HH blood type, an extremely rare group known as the Bombay blood group. When they dig deeper, they discover that this rare blood was used 2 years earlier, on May 25th, at Ekbalpur Hospital. But when they check the hospital records, there is no file under Milan's name. Vidya is convinced the documents were erased, just like the rest of Milan's records. Rana suggests visiting a man named Paresh, a former police informant who now works as a sculptor. At first, Paresh refuses to get involved. He wants nothing to do with police matters anymore. But when Vidya shares her story about her missing husband and the child she is carrying, Paresh softens and agrees to help. Rana explains about the rare blood type used on May 25th at Ekbalpur Hospital and asks Paresh to find out why it was needed. Paresh starts making inquiries, and the next day he brings them the information. On May 25th, 2 years ago, 2 men met at a tram depot. They exchanged gunfire and both died. But there was a third person present that day, and that third person was the one who requested the Bombay blood from Ekbalpur Hospital. For more details, Paresh directs Vidya and Rana to Dr. Ganguly, who was on night duty at the time and handled the bodies of the 2 men. When they meet Dr. Ganguly, he vaguely recalls that the incident was connected to a police case. He asks for 1 day to look into it further. But later that night, after finishing surgery and heading home, he is suddenly confronted by Bob and killed on orders. Remembering that Dr. Ganguly mentioned it was a police case, Vidya checks the Kolkata police database. She discovers that one of the men was Dinesh Raut, a police informant involved in the poisonous gas investigation. The other was Vijay Verma, an intelligence agent. As all this unfolds, Rana finds himself growing closer to Vidya. He seems to be developing feelings for her, catching himself smiling as he thinks about her during the journey home. The next morning, Rana arrives at the guest house and sees Vidya cleaning her room, something she says she is used to doing herself. He shares what he has uncovered. 2 years earlier, Vijay had been investigating the gas attack and had secretly arranged to meet Dinesh. Hearing this, Vidya forms a theory. Vijay and Dinesh must have known something about Milan. The third man at the tram depot was likely Milan himself. Perhaps he killed them to protect his identity, but not before being shot and needing that rare blood transfusion. And if Milan knew about their meeting, it could only mean he was tipped off by someone on the inside. Rana adds that intelligence agents always hide their real identities. He is now convinced there is an insider at the NDC. After all, Milan was not the only one working there under a cover identity. Vijay had been working there too. That same day, Vidya and Rana bring Bimal to the front of the NDC building, hoping he can identify the man who used to visit Milan's apartment. At first, Vidya suspects the insider might be the IT expert who once helped Agnes try to access the files. But Bimal quickly shakes his head. That is not the man he remembers. Then Bimal spots someone familiar, a man carrying a briefcase with a distinctive gold corner. The man is Sridhar, the head of IT at NDC and the superior of the very IT expert Vidya suspected earlier. Inside his office, Sridhar opens his briefcase, revealing stacks of cash and a copy of the photo Vidya had given to Agnes. He scans Vidya's face and sends it to Bob. At that moment, it becomes clear that Sridhar is the one who has been giving Bob orders all along, and now Vidya is the next target. After dropping Bimal off at home, Vidya is followed by Bob, who is ready to pull the trigger. But just in time, Rana shows up. Bob panics and accidentally shoots a random passerby. The chaos exposes him. He tries to flee, but in the end, he is hit by a truck and killed. Rana quickly grabs Bob's phone. From the phone, Vidya and Rana confirm that Bob was a hired assassin responsible for the deaths of Agnes and Dr. Ganguly. Rana also learns that the man Bimal identified is indeed Sridhar. Hearing this, Vidya becomes certain that Sridhar is the insider at NDC and the one who hired Bob. The IT expert was just a regular employee passing along information. Still, they need proof. Vidya checks how the target photos were sent and realizes they were not transmitted through a phone, but through a website. Luckily, she is a skilled software engineer. It does not take her long to trace the IP address of the computer that uploaded the images. Next, Rana convinces an NDC admin to help them sneak into Sridhar's office after he leaves for the day. After hearing their explanation, the admin agrees to help. But once they access Sridhar's computer, they discover it is protected by a security system linked directly to his phone. Meanwhile, Sridhar starts replaying the odd details from earlier that day. The admin working late for no clear reason, a janitor carrying 3 drinks, and Vidya entering the building. Sensing something is wrong, he tries calling Bob, unaware that Bob is already dead. When the call goes unanswered, he grabs his gun and rushes back to the office, even though traffic is heavy. Inside the office, Vidya manages to break through multiple layers of security. When she checks the IP address, it matches the one she traced from the website. That confirms it. Sridhar is the insider. Sridhar eventually tracks them down at a night market. The moment Rana notices him behind them, he calls Khan for backup and urges Vidya to move faster. But Sridhar catches up and pulls out his gun. Rana reacts quickly, knocking the weapon away and striking him. In the struggle, the gun falls to the ground. Vidya grabs it, and in the chaos, she fires. Sridhar is killed, even though he could have been used to lead them to Milan. Back at the police station, Khan finally reveals the truth to Vidya. Rana has been working under his orders the whole time. When Khan publicly scolded Rana earlier, that was only part of the act. In reality, he had forced Rana to help track down Milan, and Vidya herself had been part of the strategy. Khan believed no one would suspect or confront a pregnant woman searching for her missing husband. Through her, they were able to expose Sridhar, even if, in Khan's view, she has now complicated everything. Khan also makes it clear that he sees the deaths of Agnes and Dr. Ganguly as small sacrifices in a much larger battle. Now he wants Vidya to continue playing her role so they can finally capture Milan. He is convinced someone powerful inside the government is still protecting him. Hearing this, Vidya is deeply hurt. She leaves without another word and takes a long shower, trying to steady herself after everything that has happened. She has just killed a man, and the weight of it is beginning to sink in. That night, she stands by the window, watching the city come alive for the 10-day Puja Durga festival. After a moment of reflection, she decides she cannot stop now. If Milan is still out there, he may be the only way to uncover the truth about her husband. Days pass with Vidya going back and forth to the police station, combing through files recovered from Sridhar's seized computer. Eventually, she finds a strange code she cannot make sense of. Khan and Rana study it with her, trying to figure out what it means. Then Rana notices Khan's BlackBerry and decides to test something. He types the code into the phone. It turns out to be a mobile number. When they call it, the line connects directly to Bhaskaran, the head of the intelligence bureau. Vidya is still furious, but Khan swallows his pride and apologizes. He asks for her help one more time. He wants her to call Bhaskaran and pretend she has uncovered sensitive data about him from Sridhar's computer. Bhaskaran may be their only link to both Milan and Arnab. Reluctantly, Vidya agrees. She contacts Bhaskaran and claims she has files connected to him. If he wants those files back, the government must help her find her husband. Bhaskaran starts to panic but insists he has no idea what she is talking about and says he will send local police to deal with her. Not long after, Vidya receives a call from an unknown number. It is Milan Damji. He speaks briefly and makes it clear that if she wants her husband back, she should wait for his next instructions. It becomes obvious that Milan is working under Bhaskaran's orders and that Bhaskaran wants those files retrieved at any cost. The next morning, Vidya continues her routine, quietly cleaning her guest house room. Rana arrives with a red and white sari, the kind traditionally worn on auspicious days. It is his way of apologizing for following Khan's orders and using her as part of the plan. He also promises that he will help her find Arnab. After everything they have been through, Vidya chooses to forgive him. Not long after, Paresh calls Rana and asks to meet. He brings shocking news. Milan Damji, who has been missing all this time, is back in Kolkata. That means Khan's plan to lure him out has worked, but Rana is stunned when he learns what Khan truly intends to do. Khan plans to capture Milan during his meeting with Vidya, and if Vidya gets killed in the process, so be it. And in Khan's mind, sacrificing one life is worth saving hundreds, maybe even thousands if Milan remains alive and dangerous. Rana is furious. He cannot accept that kind of thinking. But Khan insists he is acting in the country's best interest. To make sure Rana does not interfere, Khan orders his aide to take away Rana's phone and keep him under watch at all times, even when he goes to the bathroom. Khan knows that if Rana gets the chance, he will warn Vidya immediately. Later, an officer named Chatter tells the aide that Khan has summoned him and that he will take over guarding Rana. But Chatter is lying. He creates an opening so Rana can slip away and rush to help Vidya. Back at the guest house, Vidya tries on the red and white sari Rana gave her. The moment she looks at herself, she breaks down in tears. thinking about Arnab. Soon after, Bisnu arrives with the brown envelope Vidya had requested. Seeing her cry, he also gives her his cherished radio. Then her phone rings. It is Milan. He tells her to come to a place called Triangle Park. As expected, Vidya's tapped phone allows Khan and his team to hear everything, and they immediately head there too. Rana finally reaches the guest house, only to learn from the manager and Bisnu that Vidya has paid her bill and already left for Triangle Park. That day happens to be the final day of the Puja Durga festival. Triangle Park is crowded with people celebrating. Dressed in her red and white sari, Vidya moves through the crowd as Milan guides her step by step toward a quieter area where they can meet unseen. At the same time, Rana, Khan, and their team arrive. But with so many people around, they struggle to locate her. In a secluded corner, Milan Damji finally steps forward. His face looks strikingly similar to Arnab Bakshi. Without hesitation, Milan demands the files taken from Sridhar. In return, he claims he will give her husband back. But Vidya questions how he could possibly return someone he does not have. Realizing he has been deceived, Milan lashes out and kicks her pregnant belly, preparing to shoot her. But the pregnancy is a lie. Vidya has been wearing a silicone belly the entire time as part of her plan. In a split second, she fights back. She stabs Milan in the leg. He staggers, bleeding heavily from his wounds. Vidya grabs his gun and fires repeatedly, her face cold and filled with rage. When it is over, she disappears into the crowd, blending in with the other women wearing red and white saris. Before leaving, she quietly leaves the brown envelope behind for Rana. Khan fails to capture her and is left wondering who Vidya truly is. After everything that happened, Rana starts putting the pieces together. He remembers something strange from earlier that day when he went to the guest house looking for Vidya. He noticed Bisnu's school uniform. It was the same uniform Vidya had once claimed Arnab used to wear. But then it clicks. Bisnu had told Vidya stories about his school and how he used to live nearby. Vidya simply used those details to make her story more convincing. She crafted a past for Arnab using someone else's memories, which means there was never any Arnab Bagchi to begin with. That explains why no one had ever heard of him. Not the guest house manager, not Agnes, not the school, not even immigration records in Kolkata or London. Arnab did not exist. Vidya had also been extremely careful about hiding her real identity. She constantly cleaned her room to avoid leaving fingerprints. Whenever she was asked to sign documents at the police station or the guest house, she would pretend to feel dizzy or upset to avoid writing anything down. Rana finally realizes the truth. It was never the intelligence agency or the police who were using Vidya. She was the one using them. She created the story of a missing husband to track down and kill Milan. She even allowed Khan to treat her like a pawn because that was exactly what she needed. She likely killed Sridhar intentionally as well, knowing he worked for Bhaskaran. And as Khan himself once said, no one would suspect a pregnant woman. That is why Vidya pretended to be pregnant all along. Every detail was part of her plan. Rana still does not fully understand her motive for killing Milan. Whether she was acting alone or under someone's guidance remains unclear. He then hands the brown envelope Vidya left behind to Khan. Inside is a flash drive containing all of Bhaskaran's data pulled from Sridhar's computer. It includes evidence of major crimes and proof that Bhaskaran was the true mastermind who ordered Milan to carry out the gas attack 2 years ago. The story then shifts to Vidya, staring at a photograph of her real husband, an intelligence agent named Arup. He was the man seen at the beginning of the film, the one trying to track down the bag filled with poisonous gas. Arup had uncovered the crimes of his own superior, Bhaskaran. To silence him, Milan was ordered to kill Arup, no matter how many innocent people died in the process, as long as the truth stayed buried. Vidya remembers seeing Arup's lifeless body. The trauma shattered her. She fell into deep depression and eventually lost her unborn child. At the hospital, the one who stood beside her was Arup's mentor and superior, Captain Bajpayee. Witnessing Vidya's broken life and fully aware of the corruption within the system, Bajpayee encouraged her to expose the real mastermind behind the gas attack. Together, they created the plan we have watched unfold. Vidya even altered her wedding photo, replacing Arup's face with Milan's after learning from Bajpayee that Milan was the one who carried out the attack. In reality, Vidya has been hiding at Bajpayee's house. Bajpayee believes Arup would be proud of her because she accomplished what neither intelligence nor the police could do. Vidya admits that during the mission, she became so immersed in her role that she almost forgot she was pretending to be pregnant. For a moment, it felt like she could somehow bring Arup back, but the truth crashes in. Even though she has taken her revenge and exposed Bhaskaran as the mastermind, the life she truly wanted, a life with her husband and child, is gone forever. In the final scenes, the families of the victims gathered to mark the second anniversary of the gas attack. This time, they also give thanks because the truth has finally come out and Bhaskaran has been arrested. So the moral of the story is never underestimate a pregnant software engineer with a plan, and maybe stop opening random bottles on public transport.